What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be giving you guys a video on something that I get asked about all the time. As most of you guys know, I'm an online personal trainer. I've been an online personal trainer and had my online personal training business for 2.5 years now. Many of you guys who are watching have been my clients or are my clients currently. So anyway, over the years, I've had so many questions asked about starting an online business, how to get clients, the legalities of a lot of this stuff. And I've actually made 2 other videos on this subject, which I will leave down below, like the links to those so that you guys can watch those. Let's just hop right into this. I wanted to do this like a Q&A style because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of questions. To start off, I get questions all the time about like the legal side of what I do. I may answer a couple questions, but right off the bat, I want to say that if you're taking your online business serious, whether it's a training business or any kind of business, go see a lawyer, someone who specializes in small business, especially if you can find somebody who's worked with online trainers before, because there's legalities and liabilities that come with that. I was gonna try and touch on some of that in this video, but honestly, you should not be getting legal advice from like an online personal trainer YouTuber. Like, I may know some information that may help you, but in general, don't bank on what I'm saying. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal professional. Go speak to someone who does this for a living. So, sorry, I'm not more helpful in that arena. Somebody asked, how do you stay organized with your online clients and organized with your client information? Any websites or editing tools you find helpful to keep you organized? So this is probably super old school, but I do everything on pen and paper. For the most part, I have one email account that has all of my clients' information in it. So if I'm looking for something and I don't know like who I'm looking for, or I want to see the history of me and a client's interaction, obviously I can just search that in my email account. But I actually keep client information on a 3x5 card, and I have like a whole box of my clients, which is organized by like last name. I don't know, that's just the way that I am. I don't like to keep information like that on a computer. For me, it's quicker to just be able to like pull a client card and have all of their information on there. If you're more of a computer person, I know that there are personal training databases that you can download. I know a lot of people use Excel and that works for them, but I'm probably not very helpful on that question, sorry, because I do things super old school. How did you determine what you should charge for your services? Supply and demand. There's only a certain number of clients that I can take on. And so if I see that I'm getting more sales than I can handle, like if more clients are buying than I can take on, then obviously I know I can raise prices a little bit. Or if I see in times that I'm not getting as many sales as I was like the year before, and I feel like I've been marketing myself and doing really well on that front, then I know it's time to lower prices. So my prices have changed over the last 2.5 years, and I kind of just keep them wherever demand kind of requires them to be. I know a lot of people say that coaching should be cheaper, and I'm just letting you guys know that when it comes to business, supply and demand is what dictates the price. If you're just starting out, I would just say look at your competitors. I would go find another coach who's only been doing this for like a few months, see what their prices are, see if they seem to be doing well at those prices, and then just set yours at a competitive rate. Business 101. I did go to college for like 5 minutes, and when I was there, I studied business. So, do you handle paying taxes yourself? No. So I don't do my own taxes. From the get-go, I hired a tax accountant, a guy who actually specializes in small business, and I think I'm gonna leave his information down below because he's been amazing for all of the years that we've worked with him. I cannot stress you guys enough, if you have a business and you're handling like thousands of dollars, the government's gonna find out and they're gonna make you pay taxes. And like, that's a good thing. Like I never tried to hide my income from the government. I was like, hey, yo, I'm making good money. You should probably tax me. Another thing you guys should know is for small business owners, at least in America and at least in Michigan, they are going to tax you like crazy. Be prepared to pay up to 50% of what you make. I know it's not fair. This is why we vote. But seriously, hire an accountant, somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's worked with small business owners before and knows like how to do them correctly and make sure that you're not paying more than you need to. How did you transition from gym training to online training? Were you under contract with the gym you were working at? So when I became a personal trainer, I was working at a gym, and I think I kind of let them know that I was going online. I think a lot of them followed me on social media, so they knew. The gym that I was working at was like they didn't really care at all. There was basically no management over there. I just kind of came and went as I pleased, and so nobody was even really caring. Once I went online, my online training business far exceeded my in-person training business within like 2 weeks. So I only stayed at a gym for like the first 3 months that I was online training, and then I left the gym completely and just went completely online. How did you market yourself to your clients to get them to be committed and work with you? I still don't really know. I don't know why people work with me. I find a lot of my clients nowadays decided to work with me after finding me on YouTube. So I get more of my clients from YouTube now than I do from Instagram, although I have like double the followers on Instagram that I do on YouTube. So it's just like Instagram sucks as like a base of growing yourself because it's just so hard to grow on there and to get engagement and stuff like that. I've just always tried to be honest. I've always tried to be open. I think that that's one thing that's really important, is getting the people online to trust you, giving them a reason to trust you, giving them a reason to want to work with you over anybody else. I think finding your niche is really important when it comes to online training. Like if you're just like another bikini competitor who decides to go online, like there are a dime a dozen in this industry right now. You know, with the market being so saturated, just you've got to find a way to stand out. You got to find a way to be different, basically. I think a lot of my clients also come by word of mouth because a lot of my business is referral business. So I don't know. Overall, in order to be successful in online training, in order to get clients, you have to have a base audience that you're marketing to. And that goes for any business. You can't just like open a business somewhere, open the doors and expect that people are gonna come in. Like you have to know, who are you marketing to? You have to know, what am I gonna do that's gonna get those people's attention? What am I gonna do that's gonna get those people to trust me? You have to have a plan. I see all the time, girls will contact me and they'll be like, I'm gonna start an online training business. You know, do you think that I'm gonna be successful? And I'll go to their page and they have like 150 followers and nothing on their page that would draw people to wanna work with them. And I'm straight up with them. I'm like, you probably won't. Like, unless you have some other group that you can market to, I'm sorry, but out of 150 people, probably only 20 of those people see your posts on a daily basis thanks to the Instagram algorithm. Like, you gotta have a market somewhere. Either you have one online and you build up your social media following. And I'm just gonna say, it probably needs to be at least 10 or 15,000 people to even have a few clients. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong, but I really think that unless you have 10 or 15,000 followers on Instagram or on YouTube, you probably don't have very many people's attention, especially not people with money to burn, who have a fitness goal, who want help. Like, there's just not that many of those people. So yeah, have a plan. Know who you're going to sell to. Make sure it's a large group of people, whether it's online or it's at a local gym. You gotta have people to sell to if you want clients. Do you feel as though documenting your time in bikini prep helped you to propel your social media following? Definitely. The time that I became an online trainer was just a different time than now. There weren't loads and loads of online trainers. I mean, there kind of were, but there weren't a lot of good ones. And there weren't a lot of good ones with like a decent following. So I started my business in June of 2015, and it was right after I had competed. So I think that I gained this huge following in like the 6 months that I was prepping for a bikini competition, and that kind of launched me into having success when I first went online, because there were all these people that had seen me like diet down for a show, and they were like, oh, she did that, she's probably a decent trainer. And I had so much knowledge. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I got my training certification yesterday and now I'm going online. Like, no, I had worked in a gym for a year and a half, I think, before going online, or maybe a year. I think I was at a gym for a year before I went online. But either way, like, I knew my stuff, and the people who followed me trusted me. Do you recommend getting certified before starting coaching clients? Yes. I know that being a certified trainer does not mean that you know a ton, and I know that there are people who aren't certified who know plenty more than even I do. But if you take yourself seriously and you take your job seriously and you take your responsibility to your clients seriously, just get certified. Even if it's just one of those like $90 certifications over the weekend. No, I don't think that that really teaches you anything. I went through NASM, which is like $1,000 to get certified, and I feel like maybe 10% of what I know about personal training actually came from that, and then 90% came from working in a gym, dealing with clients one-on-one, my own research. So I get it. No, I don't think your certification is what's going to teach you what you need to know to actually help clients on a day-to-day basis, but just be professional. Get certified so that you know you did what you're supposed to do, and your clients know that you did what you're supposed to do, and that's it. I just don't understand why people want to cut corners nowadays. Stop. How often are you in contact with your clients? As often as they want to be in contact with me. I give my work phone number to all of my clients, and they can text me whenever. Some clients text me a few times a week. Some clients never text me. I have check-ins with clients once a week, and then in some cases I will do like 2 check-ins a week, just kind of depending on the client and what they need. But to answer your question, my clients have access to me 7 days a week. Even on my 2 off days, on Thursdays and Fridays, where I don't check my email because I want that time away to just be with my family and my husband, I still check my work phone and make sure that my clients are getting their texts answered on those days. How do you handle clients who don't check in? Do you continuously reach out to them, or do you leave it up to them? In my initial email that I send out, I tell them, my responsibility to you is to help you get to where you want to be. I'm gonna help motivate you. I'm gonna help keep you accountable. Your job, though, is to keep in touch with me. Like, I'm not gonna chase you down if if you don't check in. I know that maybe in a perfect world, I would be the coach that's like, hey, where have you been? What are you up to? And for some of my clients, I will. Like some of my clients that I know they might have just had a bad week and they really just need me to step out and be like, what's going on? But for the most part, I'm not here to babysit adults. Like if you want my help, I'm here. You can come and talk to me. But no, I don't take my time to go and chase down my clients who haven't checked in. I used to, and I realized it was a waste of time because most of the time, if my clients aren't checking in, they don't want to hear from me. Like they don't want to be on the plan anymore. So that's why they're not checking in. So that's my experience. I mean, if you only have like 5 or 6 clients, then I guess you can go after them. But for the amount of clients I have, it would be such a waste of my time to just constantly go after clients who are not checking in. That's my opinion. How do you go about giving nutrition advice without crossing that line that personal trainers aren't supposed to cross? So when it comes to nutrition, it's kind of a tricky subject. Technically, personal trainers are not supposed to be giving like a lot of nutrition advice, and the line is a little bit hazy. I've seen different like descriptions online of what a personal trainer can do and what they can't do. In my textbook, when I went through NASM, they said they considered it okay for trainers to give calorie goals and macronutrient goals, but to not tell clients what to eat, to not try and cure anybody's like issues with diets or foods, and to not do meal plans. And I don't do any of those things. I usually even try to stay away from like suggesting meals to people because I just don't want to be towing the line when it comes to nutrition. Like if you need that deep of nutrition help, you need to go to a registered dietitian. I'm not your girl. And I see a lot of trainers are willingly crossing that line where they do meal plans and they do all this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, the laws regarding this are not super rigid in a lot of states. It is a state-by-state law. I think it used to be a countrywide law that like no personal trainer could talk any kind of nutrition with their clients until I think 2014. I think that's when the law changed and it's now dictated by the state. There are some states where personal trainers cannot give calories, macros, nothing at all. So check your state to make sure that you are not going to get yourself in trouble if you're giving out macros. I know for my state though, there's like no legalities. Unfortunately, my state does not regulate hardly at all what personal trainers can say to their clients. Ethically, I think that personal trainers should not and cannot be giving meal plans and things of that nature. But I think that by law in the state of Michigan, I don't think it could be taken to court or anything like that. But check your state's laws because you don't want to be getting yourself in trouble, A. And B, if you're a trainer, like, dude, stay in your lane. Talk about training with your clients, talk about weight loss, talk about calories if you want, macronutrients if you want. Don't be making clients meal plans. That's just not, you have not been trained to do that. Did you have someone create your website for you? How much did it cost? Yes, I did have somebody create my website for me. It's the same guy who's done my YouTube intros. He did my logo. He's done everything. His information is always in my description box because I just love him and he's been great. I forget how much my website cost to initially start, but I'll tell you, it was like several $100s, even upwards of that, I think. And you definitely can make your own website if you're good at that kind of stuff. I tried and I just hated it. It was so confusing to me. I hate computers, I hate technology, I hate it all. So I just hired my guy. I was like, do whatever you gotta do to make this easy for me so I can run this site by myself. I don't care what it costs. Like, I don't plan on updating this site extremely often, so just do what you gotta do and I'll pay whatever. And I can definitely say it was worth the investment for me to have kind of like a clean cut site that's easy to navigate. I have a guy who works for me that if there's any problems with my website, I can just go to him and he can just fix it and it's awesome. But I know people do their own websites and do just fine with that. So if you want to venture into that, that's fine. As long as your site is clean and not distracting or colors everywhere, like clean cut website with professional looking photos, I think that you'll be fine. Did you jump right into online training or did you educate yourself a bit on how to do that effectively? So like I said, I worked in a gym for about a year before I went online with my business. And so that helped me a lot on just how to learn how to deal with people, honestly, like to know what people's objections usually are, to know like the issues that they normally deal with, how to just deal with them. But what really helped me know how to be an online trainer was working with my own online coach for my bikini prep for the 6 months leading up to when I opened my own business. So I worked with a guy who I don't think he does online coaching at all anymore. I think he does something totally different. I don't think he's in the fitness world at all. I worked with him for 6 months and he was just like the most awesome coach ever. He was always there for me. He coached my husband too. He was always available via text. He was always super timely on his responses to my check-ins and emails and stuff like that. He made me feel so cared for and so taken care of, and working with him, I was just like, that's how I want to make my clients feel. I want them to feel like they have access to me. I want them to feel like I'm on their side. I want them to feel like they have a personal connection with me, that they're not just a number. And so working with him was so helpful for me in just like styling myself into the trainer that I wanted to be for my clients. And I highly recommend that if you are wanting to be an online trainer and you're so clueless as to like what that would look like or how you should go about that, I recommend hiring an online trainer, somebody that you look up to, that you want to style your business after, and just see how your interactions are with them. Even if you don't have an extreme fitness goal, you can just be like, I want to hire you because I want to know what it's like to be an online trainer and I want to see your interactions with me, or I just want to have some accountability, whatever. Hire somebody. It'll be like a little mentorship in some ways. I've had plenty of my own clients who, after working with me, went on to become online trainers themselves, and I know that our time together was extremely beneficial to them in learning how to be an online trainer and what kind of support you need to be to your clients and all that jazz. So that's my suggestion. I'm getting a lot of questions about how to grow your clientele, and if I haven't touched on that already, I'll basically touch on that now. If you're wanting to do online training, which is what I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you need an online presence somewhere. I don't care if it's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. You need to build an online social media presence. That means that you are going to have to get good at creating content. You're going to have to get good at marketing to people. You are going to also probably have to be really real and transparent and put yourself out there. You're going to have to be relatable. You are going to have to be what people, a lot of people, are going to want to follow, look up to, seek advice from, etc. So pick whichever form of social media you want to focus on, or maybe focus on two, although I really suggest just focusing on one to start out, and just work every day at building it. I really can't tell you how to grow because I have been so bad at like marketing myself on Instagram and YouTube. I'm really bad at getting tons of growth. My growth has just been like a steady climb over the last few years. I never bought followers. I never did any kind of shout out from somebody. I don't know any quick fixes to getting tons of followers. I don't know that stuff. So I am not your girl when it comes to that, but I can say that you are gonna need to figure out how to build a social media following, especially in this day and age when the market is totally saturated. It's totally different than it was 2 years ago when I was starting my business, because the market was just so less saturated. Whereas nowadays it's like everybody and their mother and their mother's dog and their mother's dog's neighbor is an online trainer, and so it's just a little harder to find clients than it was a couple of years ago. And so I really feel bad for anybody starting now, because you've got your work cut out for you, and I'm just being honest with you. But I definitely would never say that there's no way that you could get started today and still be successful. Like, there are plenty of niches, I'm sure, that have not been tapped, and markets that have not been tapped, and you might be the person to tap that market. So if you've got a dream, go for it. But I just want to lay some facts on you that this is not easy at all. This is an extremely hard market at this point to break into. But yeah, that's just like straight honesty for you. Do you think it's possible to be an online personal trainer and spread body positivity at the same time, encouraging people to take their training and nutrition more seriously, but also making posts about how they should eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and not feel guilty about that or outwork the damage? All right, so first of all, I would never say that people should just eat whatever they want, whenever they want. To me, that's not balance at all. That's just eating every single time that you want to, and like attending to every single whim that you have. Like, nobody can maintain a healthy weight if they eat every time they want, everything they want, with no regard for health. Like, I don't proclaim that at all. I do believe in balance in food. I believe that you should enjoy food sometimes, but that doesn't mean every time that you want to enjoy it. That doesn't mean eating whatever you want, whenever you want. I definitely don't believe in that, because I believe in health, and you may not want to eat healthy food, but I think that you should, even if you don't want to. And I think that you should say no to unhealthy food sometimes, even when you don't want to, because that's just how health works. But I get what you're saying. How is it possible to be a personal trainer who also is like, yeah, have that piece of cake, enjoy yourself? And for me, I think that that's kind of the niche that I personally have fallen into. When I first became an online trainer, I had just come off of a bikini prep, so I was super rigid about nutrition and fitness. Like, yes, 40 minutes of cardio a day, count your macros down to the gram, make sure your diet is perfect, 7 days a week on point, you get 1 cheat meal a month, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was me. And then trying to live that myself after I did my bikini competition, and just realizing like, whoa, this is making me really upset and ragey, and I feel really disordered, and I don't like this. So I morphed into who I am today, which is just a person who preaches balance. Not eating whatever you want, whenever you want, but also not starving yourself and being perfect on your diet all the time. And I feel like that is my niche, and what has drawn a lot of people to me is that they find themselves on either one of the extremes. You know, either I'm gonna diet perfectly and everything's gonna be perfect, I'm gonna be miserable because I'm hungry and I never get to enjoy food, or there's the other people who just eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and they're gaining weight rapidly, and they're like, holy crap, like, I don't know what to do other than to be on one side or the other. I don't know how to be in the middle. I don't know how to stay on track most of the time, but learn how to enjoy myself in moderation. And I feel like I said a million times already, that's my niche, and that's why people hire me, is because they want that middle ground. So I don't really have a problem marketing that. It doesn't feel like an oxymoron to me. It doesn't make me feel like a hypocritical trainer. I feel like I'm just a realistic trainer who wants people to enjoy their lives while being a healthy weight without extremes on either end of the spectrum. I am just starting the online portion and am so overwhelmed that I'm stuck in paralysis by analysis. What would you suggest to overcome that? So when you say paralysis by analysis, I'm sure that you mean that you have this dream of going online with your training, but you feel so paralyzed by like all the stuff that you got to do to like be pro. Like, oh my gosh, I have to come up with a logo. I have to hire a web guy. I have to hire an accountant. I have to go see somebody about the legalities of all of this. Like I have to do all this stuff. And I get that. I am totally like that kind of a person. But when I started my personal training business, I literally just announced it to Instagram like, hey, I'm gonna be an online trainer. Didn't really expect anybody to reach out to me. And I literally like created the email address for online training like 10 minutes before I made this post. And by the end of the day, I think I had like 30 people who wanted to train with me, and I was shocked. And so then I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything. I think the only thing I had was personal training insurance that I had for like the gym. And so I like looked over that and was like, okay, I think this covers me for online for now. But I didn't have a logo. I didn't have a name for my business. I didn't have a website. I didn't know what I should charge. I didn't have anything, you guys. But when it comes to business, the first thing that you need is income. You need a source of income. You need paying clients. So I'm not saying to be exactly like me, like don't have anything in place, but don't spend like 6 months or a year just like making the perfect website, getting the perfect logo, getting like the perfect ebook ready. Like, just put yourself out there, make yourself available, be somebody that people want to work with. And if you are, you're going to get clients and you're going to figure it out along the way. I did, and I am like the most type A when it comes to that kind of stuff, having to have all my ducks in a row before I'm willing to take any risks. But this was one risk that I just like went out and did, and it paid off. Like, I had a bunch of paying clients right off the bat, and having all of their needs presented to me up front was what actually helped me to create the content that I send to clients to this very day. Like this information that I think that they need, you know, the layout of the workouts, the layout of the nutrition information. I created that based off of their needs, and I feel like that's a good way to create a product or content, is to figure out what your paying customers need and then create something that meets those needs. All right, that is gonna wrap up this video because this video was so long. I know it's long because the sun was up there when I started and now it is over there. So thank you for bearing with me in this journey. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any other questions or would like me to do a more pointed video on a certain subject in the future, let me know and I will be happy to do that. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.